Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Today's Tuesday talk is I'm going to talk about what I gave up to lose 145 pounds, which is kind of an odd topic, but a lot of people, when they first come to a new way of eating, they focus on what they're giving up. They're thinking about, oh my goodness, I'm never going to have a bagel again, or I'm never going to have this again or that again. And, I'd like to say that is not very helpful to your cause. I think that we need to think about a few things, and I'm going to try to put that into perspective for you here today about what you're really giving up. Yes, I've given up things like sugar, I've given up grains, I've given up processed carbs, seed oils. I've even given up so-called healthy foods full of fiber, such as fruits and vegetables, most times, 99% of the time. That is something that I never thought I would say, but my body feels so much better without them that even if I wanted to go back, I don't think I wouldn't choose that, just because there's like a huge difference between how I function eating just an animal-based diet versus eating, even a normal keto or low-carb diet. For some people that works great. For me, it does not. I just have too many food sensitivities, too many things that happen in my system that I don't want to deal with, and I don't have to when I eat this way. I've never been healthier. So I think I'd like to go through some of the things that I have given up gladly. Things like acid reflux. I no longer have acid reflux. I've been able to give up type 2 diabetes. I was never diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, but certainly my numbers were up in the, pre-diabetic range. And if I had kept going with the way I was eating when I was 320 pounds, I certainly would have been traveling that road as well. And so I've given that up. No diabetes, no pre-diabetes, don't even have questionable blood sugar. It's all good there. I've given up mobility issues. I remember a time when I used to try to go for a walk, and I would get halfway around the block. There was pain in my ankles and in my feet. I woke up every morning with plantar fasciitis. I didn't wake up with it. I had it. And one of the symptoms when you get out of bed in the morning, the pain in your feet from plantar fasciitis is, wow, it just really hurts. I actually, a month or two ago, somebody mentioned that word to me, and I was like, oh yeah, I used to have that. It had been so long since I've had a pain in my foot or feet that I didn't even remember that I had plantar fasciitis. I've given up the fear of sitting in a seat. We're talking all kinds of seats. Maybe going to somebody's place for a barbecue or something, and they have those fold-up chairs. Boy, was I scared of those things, because there's a good chance, that they were not going to hold my weight. And that has happened to me. It's very embarrassing. So other chairs, like maybe, sitting in a roller coaster ride or something, those bars that go across. No problem. Not that I really like doing those things these days. As I've gotten older, I'm kind of more, I like to stay on the ground now. But speaking of not staying on the ground, flying. Nobody really likes flying. There's all the hassles at the airport. But my biggest hassle was not being able to be comfortable sitting in the seat. Couldn't even get the seatbelt around. I had to always ask for an extension. It's very embarrassing, very humiliating. And also felt just really squished in, especially if I was in the middle, or if I was on a window seat and had to get up to the bathroom. I mean, it was just so humiliating and embarrassing. So I've given up all that. I've given up the anxiety of not having a doctor. I live in Canada. Our medical system is a disaster right now. There's millions of Canadians without a family doctor. It bothers me a little bit that I don't have one since I've moved. But I feel like, okay, I'm not on any medications. I am advocating for myself. I'm doing research into things. I feel like, I don't know if they're going to ever fix this. They say they're working on it, but I feel like I could probably go a number of years before I'll ever need a doctor, unless there's an accident or something like that. So trauma doctors, no problem. If you find me at the side of the road, I've been in a car accident, call 911. Happy to have those types of doctors. What I don't really have a lot of need of is doctors who prescribe all kinds of pills for you when they don't even ask you what you're eating that could possibly be causing the ailment that you have. Because every ailment that I had seems to be gone now with following a proper human diet. And so, yeah, I've given up that fear. I believe I've given up future dementia and Alzheimer's issues. My mom had dementia for the last several years of her life. That was no picnic. I was her main caregiver. I was her caregiver. And she... the indignities that she went through, anytime she fell down or, just everything was hard for her. She was 100 pounds overweight in her mid-80s with dementia. There is nothing that I want anything to do with what I watched her go through. It was heartbreaking. It was hard. I don't ever want to put my kids through that. And so I've given that up. I feel like I'm following the best anti-inflammatory diet in the world because none of the foods I eat are inflammatory. There's, very, very, very little, maybe a little dairy here and there, but in the amounts that I'm eating compared to what people eat when they're on the standard American diet, I feel like my brain has its best chance moving forward. I feel fairly sharp. I'm still doing everything I can to protect my brain. I don't drink alcohol. I don't, take any pharmaceuticals, nothing like that. So all that is really good. The other thing I have given up are sugar cravings and constant thoughts of food. That whole thing where you're constantly thinking, you have a meal and you're already wondering about your next meal. When's that going to come? What are you going to have? I had that my whole life. It was just one of those things where it's all I thought about, just obsession, complete obsession, the committee in my head, yakking away, telling me, it was okay to eat this, it was okay to eat that, maybe I should do that. Just game playing, all the stuff that went on in my head, it is now quiet. There's a freedom in that. So I feel like, rather than worrying about another food that I may possibly not ever eat. And there is no never anyways. I mean, there's been times when if I really, really wanted something, I had it. And then I moved on, and I was never able to do that when I was, thick in my addiction of food and when I had it all in my body all the time. When you're free of it, and this isn't for everybody. I know that some people out there's certain things they can never, ever have a bite of. It's like an alcoholic. And if you're that person, honor that. Absolutely. Don't go experimenting, just because I experiment, because there have been times where I have discovered, oh, okay, maybe not that food. Maybe that food is something I probably never want to have again, because, that sends me spiraling. But something else, that I've tried, like a handful of blueberries or something like that, no problem, moved on. It's sometimes things are just okay, and I feel like my relationship with food has healed to some extent. There are definitely certain things that I just choose not to have because of how I feel. I feel that I just wanted to pass on that perspective of, rather than thinking about foods that you're giving up, think about some of the issues that you're giving up when you follow the proper human diet. And also realize that there are channels out there, including mine, where there's a lot of foods that you can have when you're doing carnivore or ketovore, clean keto. There's a lot of things you can have, and things can be created, some of your old favorites. If you need that as a transitional path to get to where you want to make it more simple. I these days like to keep it simple, single ingredient foods, but I took a while to get there, and that's okay. So check out some of the things on my channel. I do have a playlist for transitional foods. One of my favorite recipe creator is Chris Cooking Nashville. I mean, he's got everything. He's got carnivore mashed potatoes, for example, and everyone I've spoken to says they're amazing. So check out his channel. There's others too. There's anything you can think of can be created. There's a little bit of magicianship there, but you're not giving up anything. You really don't have to give up anything. That is something that is that is your addictive brain telling you why you can't do this. Anybody can do this. If I can do this, you can do this too. I mean, if you take a look at that picture of me here and know that that's where I was, that's where I lived, that's where I suffered, that's what I gave up. That is what I gave up. And in return, I have a brand new life. And I know that you can do it too. So keep watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
Okay, that's it.